And welcome to Trivia Kids, presented by Bad News Media. It is the return of the divisional breakdowns. We are back on the saddle. Michael is here. How are we doing today, good sir?
I am doing great. How are you today?
Good. It's been a little hiatus for us. We haven't done one of these shows in a very long time, so we'll see how this one goes. We're gonna do a little grace period here, folks. We're starting with an easy division to break down. Not a lot of tough ones in this with the AFC South. To kind of get back in the swing of things.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, pretty easy division here. Clearly, quarterback-driven league has a clear number one quarterback. Maybe one of the most clear number one quarterbacks at all the divisions in football. So yeah, we'll see what we think though. I don't know what you're thinking, so we'll see.
I think that's a good place to start because there is a clear-cut quarterback and I think a clear-cut head coach in this division as of right now, and that is the Jacksonville Jaguars we were talking about. They are right now in year 2 of their process, bringing back Doug Peterson, offensive coordinator, still the same, defensive coordinator, still the same. They went 9-8 last year. Previous year, Urban Meyer was there, went 3-14. This year, they are sitting at the betting favorites to win the division at -115. Over under is set at 9.5 wins. Now, the Jacksonville Jaguars this year are going to try to do something that they have never done since the inception of the AFC South, and that is win more than 4 divisional games. With the way this division's set up, with the way this
Never?
never, not since the inception of 2002 have they won more than 4 divisional games. They have won exactly 4 last year. And in previous years, that is the highest mark they have ever gotten.
Wow, even that they went 13-3 like that one year, right?
Yeah.
Wow. Wow, that's shocking to me.
Yeah.
Really?
I was shocked when I found that stat.
It's a bad division. I mean, I guess they've been like the worst of the bad division.
Very
So,
true.
but yeah, that is shocking. But I mean, it's definitely a team like I kind of like this team. I don't love it maybe as much as some other people do. I do think 9 wins probably wins this division, and I kind of like them right around 9, maybe 10. I'm kind of more leaning towards the 9. I think Lawrence is going to take another step. He's going to be a lot better. I like his weapons this year. They're going to be better. Obviously, they have more weapons. Don't forget about Calvin Ridley. That's a big one. And Calvin Ridley's not coming back from tearing his Achilles. He's not coming back. He's coming back from gambling, so he's healthy. um, so that makes a big difference. He's not coming back from tearing his ACL or something. So I think he's going to be fine. Everything I've seen, like you've watched training camp. I watched a video where Zay Jones ran her out. Zay Jones, athletic guy, and then Ridley runs right after him. The difference is just like, oh my God. So that's going to be huge. A little worried about the offensive line. Cam Robinson, I think he's out for 6 games. That's a bit of a worry there. But overall, I like this team. One big thing I worry about, obviously, we like to talk about the schedule now. It can change, but they play the Chiefs, they play the Bills, and they play the Niners. No one else in their division play those guys. I mean, that's 3 top 4, top 5 teams. That's a little scary.
Yep. They are going to cut their teeth this year for sure. I would say this team is definitely riding high compared to years past because the improvement with Doug Peterson was astronomical. I mean, it's hard to be worse than what Urban Meyer provided them, but he made huge inroads at the most important position, and that is the quarterback position. He got Trevor Lawrence back on track from his rookie year, which was abysmal to say the least. As a rookie, he had a 0.71 TD to interception ratio. That's 12 touchdowns, 17 interceptions, which was the worst for any quarterback with at least 500 attempts. Only rookie quarterback since 2000 to throw for 500 attempts with the worst TD to interception ratio. So he already improved that last year, only threw 8 interceptions on 584 passes. It was the 6th lowest interception rate in the league. Meanwhile, with his his TD to interception ratio was the 15th highest. So looking pretty good. They improved that wide receiver room. The problem you mentioned to whether or not this team could have a real impact in the AFC, which is just a conference that is getting more and more competitive, is that offensive line. No real clear replacement for Juwan Taylor. And Trevor Lawrence kind of the knock on I had on him coming out of college, it's still the knock now, is how he deals with pressure. That's the next leap. Can he make that leap? Because when he is kept clean, he ranked 8th in EPA per attempt, 14th in success rate, and 17th in yards per attempt. Under pressure, those go to 26, 27, and 33rd last year. So not great. huge need to keep him clean, which I don't know if they're going to be able to do. I do like the weapons. We shall see. The defense, that front seven, huge upgrade. Jacksonville ranked 3rd in pressure rate generated last season, 4th in yards before contact, which was good. So when you look at the division as a whole, pending injuries, which is really the name of the game when you're trying to win divisions, compete in the NFL, keep quarterbacks healthy. With the exception of Trevor Lawrence somehow getting hurt this year, I don't see how they lose this division. Like, Doug Peterson is too good of a coach to lose this division the way the other teams are set up.
It's really hard to see. Obviously, quarterback-driven league, best quarterback usually wins their division. The only thing when we get to it is, I mean, this division in general, the schedules are just jokes because they play each other, and then they play your Bucks division. I mean, so the schedules are just laughable, and the Titans have just such a cakewalk. But I still, not to give away my pick, but I am certainly leaning Jags.
Yep, I would agree. Let's move to a team that I'm actually fascinated to talk about, and that is the Indianapolis Colts. Because with your owner now being out of the league, I think Jim Irsay is in the running for worst owner in the league. He has decided to go to war against their best player and arguably the only player that gives them hope of having somewhat of a good offense, I think. And Jim Irsay, I think we've all kind of known the owner he is, but he's been able to hide behind some other really bad owners in the league. But as they start to go away, I think he's taken the mantle for worst owner.
Oh yeah, so I'll forever love Jim Irsay because he was very vocal anti Dan Snyder. He was pretty much the first vocal owner we've had like that. But I've always known he was an idiot. Let's be honest, he acquired his wealth through being born. That's Jim Irsay. He was born into a family that owned an NFL team. So he might not be the brightest, and he might say some foolish things. So yeah, I would agree. He has probably taken he probably always had the title of being the most loose cannon with what he'll say. But now he might be probably the worst owner. Yeah.
I mean, he at least lives it up. I'll give him that.
Oh, yeah.
He's not one of these boring rich guys who just do dumb things with their money. He at least lives it up a little bit.
I think part of that is being, born into it. That's all he's known.
This is true. This is very true. The Colts are sitting at plus 550 to win the division. Over under is 6.5. Last year they were 4-12-1. Year before that 9-8. Year before that 11-5. They bring in an entirely new coaching staff with the exception of defensive coordinator. They do keep Gus Bradley on, but one of the all-time coaching names out there, Jim Bob Cooter, is going to be their offensive coordinator, with Shane being the head coach coming over from Philadelphia. This is a team, they went the mercenary route at quarterback for so long. Andrew Luck retires early. That kind of throws off their ascension in this league, and then they just start hiring guns. They bring in Phillip Rivers, Matt Ryan. We all know the list. They've never really been able to get over that hump, and now they are sort of they're on the island of misfit toys because I don't know if they're going to have a lot going for them, especially if it seems Taylor is going to be gone. Does not seem like he has any interest given the conversations he's had with said owner to be coming back. But what do you make of this team? Because without Jonathan Taylor, I struggle to see how this team manages to kind of scrape together something this year.
Oh yeah, I agree 100%. 6.5, that number shocks me. I think this team is in the running for the number one pick. I don't think they'll get it. There's a team in the NFC that's really bad. I think we all know what that is. But I think this team, they're really bad. I think they'll be fun to watch. There'll be times where Richardson does some shit. We're just like, whoa, that was crazy. He'll do. I think it's going to be very Justin Fields in the sense that a lot of crazy plays, but they're not necessarily winning games. I think we'll see that. They lack weapons outside of what I'm assuming will be Richardson will be their best weapon. Pittman's good, but he's not terrifying defenses. So yeah, that's just kind of what I'm worried about with this team. Also, just because you just for fun, you brought up Jim Bob Cooter and his crazy NFL name. Look up his record too. You'll be like, whoa, that guy's done some weird things.
Yep.
Just wanted to add that.
Oh, good old Jim Bob Cooter. That was like there's a USC quarterback back in the day. I can't think of his name. I'll have to find it. Also another great football name. Anthony Richardson, he's a bit of a head scratcher because you watch him in college and clearly all the physical tools are there, but man, was it hard to justify from a production level. This guy is a top tier pick, but that's what happens when you have a low quarterback draft, I think.
Right.
Like all the physical tools are there, but he lacked touch on the ball a lot. You could see that he was uncomfortable. Just he didn't have, in my opinion, he just didn't have a lot of football like experience. Like he just didn't have enough snaps or reps. We'll see. I mean, the quarterbacks coach Cam Turner has experience working with guys like Cam Newton and Kyler Murray. So there is some hope. You know, Shane helped develop Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia, so there is a track record at least here in developing quarterbacks.
Yeah.
The thing that's going to work against them, though, is the simple stat. Rookie quarterbacks over the last 10 seasons have won 35% of games. So not a great track record here from the rookie standpoint. There's not a lot of offensive weapons. Pittman, like, I don't know what to make of Pittman because if he can't be a factor downfield, then you just have like three of the same identical wide receivers. Like Alex Pierce and Woods are all guys that are going to work intermediate short routes. Like you need that deep threat to open it up. And there are times where you go, yeah, Pittman can maybe do it, but like he's really got to have a jump this level if this team has any sort of hopes of being even a relative threat offensively, which once again, I think the outcome here is they're going to be in the running for a top 3 pick at the end of this.
Yeah, and you might have mentioned this if you did. I'm sorry, but obviously Taylor's probably not going to play. Zach Moss also broke his arm, so
I did not mention that, but yeah,
they got no running backs other than Anthony Richardson.
Yep, Deion Jackson. I'm going to tell you right now, folks, is not going to prop up this offense at running back. He's a nice third option, and he's now been thrusted into the number 1 spot. The defense too. We didn't even talk about them. They stink. I mean, that secondary might be in the running for worst secondary in the league. I mean, that is a bottom 10 secondary. They stink at getting pressure. Now they do get DeForest Buckner back this year because he'll be healthy. And Shaq Leonard will hopefully stay healthy. So, you know, if those two pieces can step up, maybe they'll generate some pressure to help out this secondary. But man, this team with an offense that's going to struggle to score points, this secondary is going to be a broken dam. Like this is going to be bad.
Yeah, it's going to be bad. They've always had nice pieces on the defenses and like Leonard, Buckner. I mean, but they can't stay healthy and it's just never really all come together and worked.
Yeah. This has been a team that for the last couple of years, I think we've said is like, they're like in your mind a good football team, but they just don't have enough to like win big games. Like they're a competitive team. They hurt you on the offensive line, but they now have started to decline and they're sort of on that island of misfit toys where things are just, it's tough. It's tough. I mean, the running back is clearly their best position and they're not going to have that. So we shall see. All right. Texans, the lovely, lovely Texans. 3-13-1 last year. They are plus 1,000 to win the division. 2021, they were 4-13. Year before that, 4-12. New head coach, D'Amico Ryan steps in. New OC, new defensive coordinator. This offense and defense has been objectively bad the last couple of years. Is there any hope or resemblance this turns around this year? And my God, the more we talk about this division, it is so bad.
It's so terrible. Yeah, there's no hope. There is absolutely no hope. This team has no chance of winning division. They don't have anyone on offense. They have Damian Pierce. He's nice. That's basically it. I think their defense will be a little better. It's hard to really get any worse. It was so bad last year. Obviously, bringing in D'Amico Ryans is big. Drafting Anderson is huge. They brought over Jimmy Ward, good player. So, like, you know, I like what they're doing. Obviously, Ryan's going to try to bring guys over from San Francisco. So I like that. But they're going to be bad. And they're going to be in the running for the worst record, but unfortunately, they won't have the number one pick because they don't have one. So yeah, it's just going to be really bad. But I think this division is so bad, and they have the luxury of also playing the NFC South that I don't think anyone in this division is going to have the worst record in the NFL just because of that.
Yeah, this is a tough one. I mean, in 2022, the offense ranked 31st and the defense ranked 20th in like overall rankings. I mean, in EPA, it was a disaster. Last year's team had one win against a team with a winning record, and that was against the Jags early in the season when they were still trying to like perform a lobotomy from what like Urban Meyer had brought into that organization. So like this is a bad team. And I think this might be the first time maybe in NFL history where a rookie quarterback can arguably say his wide receiver room was better in college than it will be in the NFL. Like there's a huge downgrade for CJ Stroud coming into this offense and the weapons he has around him. Like it's rough.
I mean, yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, I'm excited to watch Mechie now he gets to play. But yeah, Robert Woods, he's just on the backside of his career. He was never known for like speed to begin with, but now he has leg injuries on top of that. So, you got to think it's going to be kind of tough for him. So yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, this is a tough welcome to the NFL moment for CJ Stroud. I don't know how his career will pan out. He played well he can deliver an accurate ball. I will say the one thing he's got going for him is the tackle positions are great. Yeah. Howard and Tensel you can't do much better in this league when you put those two tackles out there. So at least his edges will be protected pretty well. But this is a bad football team, folks. A bad football team. Make no doubt about it. Their draft picks are gone. They put a lot of capital in this. They did get Will Anderson and CJ Stroud, so arguably they got their two guys. And the back end of their draft I thought was pretty decent, but this is a long-term project. It's going to be a tough year.
Agreed.
All right. Let's talk about the Tennessee Titans, a team that just seems to just hang in there year in and year out. But the problem is their offensive philosophy does not mesh well with what the current NFL winning philosophy is. The last 6 Super Bowl teams that have won have been ranked at least in the top 5 of passer rating, with the lone exception of the 2018 New England Patriots, who sat at 11. Titans, meanwhile, highest rank in that period, last 6 Super Bowls, was 23rd. This is a team that is built around a 29-year-old running back with close to 2,000 carries, an offensive line that is definitely disintegrating in front of our eyes, and an offense that is struggling to find, I would say, a path from the wide receiver position. You let go of A.J. Brown, you go and sign D. Hops this year, who's great but is aging. Maybe Treylon Burks works out, but like there's just not a lot there, and you're built around a guy that, while he has been a freight train, is aging and eventually will fall off the cliff.
Yeah, I agree. And the unfortunate thing is, obviously, they're built around this guy, but also on top of that, their offensive line sucks. So, I'm like, well, what are we gonna do here? So it's like they're kind of just they're a team that's built of players who have been really good, but they're just kind of approaching that age or kind of going, over the edge of that age. DeAndre Hopkins has had an awesome career, but he is 31. I think obviously bringing him on will help because this team really had nothing going on at wide receiver last year. So, it'll be better than what it was last year. But I don't see Tannehill. I mean, his game is not improving at all. And he's just, as the running game isn't being quite as successful as it once was, he's not playing as well. So I do think at one point we'll see Will Levis. But it all just depends on the schedule and how they're doing, because it is a pretty easy schedule. The only thing is the start is kind of difficult. But after that, it is a cakewalk. Now, they'll still lose a lot of these games because I don't think they're very good, but it's just the schedule is laughable.
It is. It is very laughable. I would say if we don't see Will Levis by week 5, we'll probably get him after the bye of week 7, because I don't think they're going to want to throw him in, second game of his career against the Chargers. You got the Bengals. The Browns should be at least somewhat formidable. We'll talk about them. Ravens. Like, these are tough teams. So I'm expecting either week 5 against the Colts or wait until week 7, because that is the nice thing. Will Levis, the dude's a maniac. He's a psycho. The way he consumes his coffee, eating banana bowls, like that's not a guy I want leading my football team. But we'll see. Maybe he works out. I don't have high hopes. I watched him play a lot of football at Kentucky. He was good. I think they upgraded this year Kentucky football with the guy they just brought in from North Carolina State. That's neither here nor there, but the dude's out of his mind. So I don't love that for a quarterback, but we'll see. The nice thing though is he does not have to be thrown in right into the mix, but clearly is going to be their guy. At some point, you got to test his mettle when you invest the 33rd pick in him. But yeah, with this offensive line, like Vrabel's a good coach. I think that part has been pretty solidified. He seems to get the most out of his players. Guys like playing for him. They kind of have a never die mentality. They're always sort of in the fight. I mean, heck, they've got a great record against the Chiefs for a team that when you line them up on paper doesn't really line up, and yet they've done very well against arguably the best franchise right now in the league. But it's hard to see them. Like I said, when you compare them to Jacksonville, pending injuries, all things the same, all things even, with that offensive line and the way the defense is set up, I have a hard time seeing them winning and competing for this division. They are plus 310 to win. Their over-unders, I think, sitting at like 7.5 wins last I checked. That schedule is easy. I don't know. I don't know what to make with them. They're a bit of a head scratcher because it all depends on what you get out of Derrick Henry, and who knows? At some point, it's gotta go off the rails.
Yeah, I agree. I think obviously it's very obvious. Well, actually, I did notice, but we didn't even mention this. So Jacksonville back-to-back games in Europe. That's crazy.
Oh, I forgot to mention that. Yes. I think that's the first time ever. I mean, they are Europe's team. So
they are Europe's team 100%. But yes, that is absolutely the first time ever. That's crazy. But anyways, but
I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, but it's very clear this is obviously a one playoff team division. So got to win this division in order to make the playoffs, because in the AFC, this is not a two playoff team.
No, not in a conference that is continually going up, and in the defense that's also going to. I mean, their secondary is not great. Their front seven's not great. Like, head coach is good, running back good, offensive line bad, quarterback bad, wide receiver room probably going to be bad. I don't know. I don't see a way forward. I think the under. It's just hard because that schedule is so easy, but 7.5 wins. Like, they went 7-10 last year. They're not better than last year's team, at least coming in. So
I don't think so.
I don't think they're getting 8 wins. All right. That's all 4 teams. Any bets, predictions, anything to kind of give the people here as we wrap up?
Nothing major. I would definitely. I'm taking under on almost every single one of these teams, which is funny.
Yep. It's a big under for me on this one, especially around rookie quarterbacks like in Houston, eventually the Titans. It's hard to be a rookie quarterback in this league. When you don't have a lot of talent around you, it's even harder. So, yeah, I think unders are probably the way here.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else before we wrap this up? There has been some additional sporting news. I don't know if you have comment about it, but our U.S. women's team stinks. They lost today. They're out of the World Cup. Carly Lloyd, I stand with her and her comments. This team, dude, I don't know. The women's soccer team has been so good. They've earned a little leeway here because they were trying to do something that had never been done in the sport, and that's win 3 back-to-back World Cups. They've won 2, obviously. But to leave at this stage and to play so poorly in the group stage, the only equivalent I can give is like when our they're on the level of the men's basketball team, where it's like we expect a certain level, and if you don't meet that, you're going to get flamed. Like, it's an embarrassment on a national stage.
Yeah, it didn't go well. I'll be honest, I didn't catch much of it this year. I think the time difference played a big role.
Huge role.
Yeah. But yeah, didn't go well. Not good. But I do have 2 quick things here. First of all, I think everyone pretty much saw the baseball brawl yesterday. I want to say one thing. Now I don't care at all. I don't care. But the guy who knocked it was Jose Ramirez and
Ramirez, yeah.
Tim Anderson. Right? I don't really know baseball, but I know
Yeah.
those names now. Did you did you know Jose Ramirez played today?
No, I did not.
What is going on? Don't you think he's got to sit a few?
I mean, yes, but I kind of love it. This
I
is
mean,
what
yeah, I
baseball
don't
needed.
care. I don't
Yeah.
care at all. But I read that today. I was shocked. I was like, you mean he's just playing today? He just
Dude
pummeled that
landed
man. Usually you're suspended in pro sports.
dude landed the best right hook of the weekend, and he's still playing on
Yeah.
Sunday.
I could not believe that when I read that today. He's in the starting lineup. I was like, well, good for him.
That's fantastic. I agree. Tim Anderson, I would say probably is not. He's still probably wondering what
He's not.
planet he's on.
He was not. He was not in their lineup today. And then second, we are a podcast and we want as many people to listen as possible. But I just want to say, with all the off-season things, if you're an NFL player, maybe don't listen because I can't believe how much they're betting on. They're betting on games and getting
Holy
suspended.
hell,
And
dude! The
then, I
the
mean,
betting is insane. And even in college, that Iowa story that broke, like, how
oh
brain
yeah,
dead do you all have to be? It's not that hard. Don't bet when you're on team facility, and don't bet on your team. It's like the two most simple rules in the world.
well, that's the NFL thing. I think people maybe don't realize it. They can bet on sports. They
Yeah.
just can't bet on their sport, and they can't bet while they're in the facility. I think teams need to just do a better job of getting that across to them. I bet it's like they bring like third party guys in over the off season. They present to them. Half the players aren't paying attention to any of that because let's be honest, who pays attention in meetings? Not anyone.
One.
So I think maybe a lot of them don't know the rules.
This is very true. It is a bit of a problem. I love the crowd that's like, well, this is what you get when you legalize betting. It's like, no, we find this out because it's legalized and regulated, and we can we can find out what's going on here. But like at some point, I think it's just going to get to the point where it's like the moment you step into the facility, you got to lock your phone away because teams at some point are going to be like, all right, enough is enough. We're applying like government rules here. It's a skiff. You got to lock your phone away for the day and you'll get it back because you can't be trusted. It's
It's
ridiculous.
crazy. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, outside of Calvin Ridley, though, it hasn't really happened to anyone big
This is
time.
true.
But I wonder what would happen if like Mahomes was caught. They'd probably just be like, whatever.
No, that would go away so quickly. That would be swept under the rug so quickly.
Yeah, never mind.
Yeah. um, I guess we also didn't touch. Speaking of play, where are you at in the running back collective? It almost feels like running backs are about to go on strike here because, and we touch on this virtually almost every year. It feels like, but this year it feels like it's notched up a level. Running back pay in this league is a point of contention, and their piece of the pie. Where are you at with this whole with the current landscape?
So, like, I understand where they're coming from, and I support them and them asking and trying to get what they want. But at the same time, I can also look at the business side of things and also understand that you can not exactly just replace anyone at the running back position, but you can replace them at like 85%. It's kind of how I also feel about, I feel the same way about signing like cornerbacks from different systems to like $85 million contracts. I'm like, I think you could get almost the same production out of a third round pick. So I don't know. The business side of me comes out and just like, well, it kind of sucks for you.
I agree to a point. I get their pain, and I don't feel as bad for like the Barclays of the world who are high draft picks who make more money. I really feel for the guys like Eckler who have been an integral part of their team's success.
Oh, yeah.
Late draft picks, they don't really get paid in their prime. I don't hate a world where maybe we carve out a rule for them to make more incentive based pay, because they are virtually the only position in the league that has not had rules implemented to protect them on the I mean, offensive linemen have had new rules to protect them, quarterbacks, wide receivers. They're basically getting into car rash. I get their point, but I also see the business side. It is a tough position. My only thing is if we want good athletes to continue to play the position, there has to be some level of balance. What that is, I don't know. I think the easiest way is just carve out a new rule that allows them to make more incentive-based things. Feels like the easiest solution.
I like the idea. I mean, it's hard to make this happen, but I do like the idea of rookie running back contracts going down to 3 years rather than 4 years. So
Don't hate that either.
you can get paid quicker, more in your prime. I do like that possibly as an option, but I don't know if they'll actually do it.
100% agree. And then my final note, college football. We're not exactly a college football pod, but it's hard not to speak on what is going on there. Ooh. Holy hell. I will say Florida State might be the sneakiest organization ever. During the realignment, they just slowly slid into the news cycle that they are seeking private investments. It's like, all right, how more blatant can you be like, hey, Saudis, could you please fund us real quick?
Florida State's just mad that, like teams like Boston College are like getting the same slice as them. They're just pissed about that.
Yep. College football's in a weird place. I don't know. I love the conference play of it, because the one thing college football I don't think really understands is it is what makes the product good is not the actual on-field play. It's all the other stuff that makes it exciting. Oh, yeah. It's like the rivalries, the stupid things kids end up pulling off. Like, it is a worse product on the field wise. So if you try to make it a junior NFL, I think there is some decrease in value there. But
for sure, they're destroying rivalries for sure.
Yeah, and I also feel bad for the non-football sports. Like, you're telling me you got to travel from Eugene, Oregon out to Rutgers to play a softball game on a Wednesday and then fly back. Like,
I know.
I mean, the non-football sports here are just getting screwed left and right.
Yeah, they really are.
It's bad. All righty. That'll do it for us. We will be back with some more divisional breakdowns. I think not a bad one for the first one. Hopefully the fans enjoyed it. Little actionable info there. It's only up from here. And as always, peace.
Nice.
Quick and easy.
Yeah, it was good.
I love it.